Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Paramanandamadhavam. Om Achaturvadano Brahma Dvibahuraparo Harihi Abhalalochana Shambhu Bhagavan Badarayanaha. Om Dakshine Lakshmano Yasya Vame Cha Janakatmaja Purato Marutiryasya Tam Vande Raghunandanam. Shri Rama Geeta, Lakshmana asked Ramchandraji for the direct means to swim across this ocean of ignorance of samsara. And Bhagavan said the root cause is ignorance, therefore it can be only crossed over with knowledge. This knowledge, does it need the support of actions? Because all the scriptures have indicated inevitability of actions. The scriptures have indicated that if one doesn't perform actions, it will lead to some sin. So therefore, are actions necessary as auxiliary causes for this alleviation of the sorrow and the ignorance? So it was indicated that it is not so. Action and knowledge are opposed to each other. Action is born out of ignorance, and so it cannot get rid of ignorance. Knowledge alone is capable enough to remove this ignorance and free us from the bondage of sorrows. So this has been the topic of discussion, and also the last topic in verse number 20 that we saw was that this knowledge once it rises, the ignorance cannot come back. Maya cannot return, and therefore if it cannot return, it will not give birth to this agency, this doership, aham karta bhava. And if aham karta bhava is not there, then no other samsara is possible. Now, although Bhagavan himself is saying these words, if Bhagavan's words are there, then we take it as it is true. There is no doubt, there is no need for validating it, but still our parampara is such that even if they are words of Bhagavan, it has to be validated, and the ultimate valid source of this knowledge is Veda. So without Veda, nothing can be authenticated. Nothing can be called authentic if it is not in line with the Veda. So that is our culture. Even the so-called other philosophies other than Vedanta also, they also consider Veda only to be the valid source of knowledge, pramana. And without valid source of knowledge, any knowledge is not possible. So we had seen earlier also, and this Shruti Pramana was indicated earlier also, that it is the basis of knowledge, the means of knowledge, that determines whether we actually get the knowledge or not. So based on the different areas of knowledge, we need to employ the means of knowledge also. So if it is something that can be perceived by the senses, then that is sufficient. But if it is something that is not perceived by the senses, then can it be inferred based on some observation? Then that inference is possible. For example, while we are coming, if we meet somebody, so we are meeting that person, so we know this person is here. So this knowledge has taken place. But we come and then we don't see the person, but we see their footwear. Then again the knowledge takes place that this person has come. But it is not direct perception, it is inference, anuman, based on the something else I saw, but through that I understood that this person is here. So there are different ways. Okay, I didn't see even the footwear, but I asked the person standing outside, has this person come? And they say yes. Even then I got the... So that person has to be trustworthy and that person has to be authentic. Then from Shabda Pramana. So these are all different pramanas are there which are sources of knowledge. But for those things, in all these pramanas, it has to be knowledge that is verifiable with the senses. Whereas this knowledge of the self is beyond the senses, beyond the buddhi. So that cannot be verified by senses, that cannot be inferred, and it is beyond words, so it cannot be spoken in words also. Still, I need pramana. So that which is beyond the scope of senses, for that subject, the pramana is Veda. Atindriya Vishaye Vedaha Pramanam. So Veda is the pramana for all those things which are beyond the scope of senses. And what is beyond the scope of senses? So it is said mainly two. One is Dharma, other is Brahma. Dharma talked about in the beginning itself, that all these duties based on Varna Ashrama as per the scriptures have to be performed. That is Dharma. So that also scriptures come there. And Brahma, my own self. What is my true identity? Who am I? To know that which is beyond the senses and the mind intellect, that has to be known. For that, Veda is the pramana. And if Veda is the pramana, even Bhagavan has to validate what he is teaching, indicating that it is in line with the Veda. Even in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Krishna Bhagavan, although he is saying the highest philosophy, but he doesn't say, okay, I am saying this. He says, even Veda says this. Here also, the same thing, Bhagavan Shri Rama also in Shri Rama Geeta is quoting from the Veda. Not because Lakshmana needed it, but to authenticate this knowledge that this is not something new that we are bringing out. It is in line with the Veda. So scriptural reference is the way of validating our knowledge. And nowadays, we find that there are so many people who say, it is my own theory, my own path, my own, I have devised this method. Who can devise a new? And if you say your own, which means you are only belittling your thing, you are only devalidating your thing. Because, your own means it is not in line with Veda. No, it is something new. Then I am not interested. Why? Because it is not valid. If it has to be valid, if you want me to consider it authentic, it has to be in line with the Veda. Otherwise, I don't take. That is the society of those days, and even now, if we understand that, then we will be able to get the right knowledge. So, here also, Bhagavan is referring to two different parts of the Veda, two different texts of the Veda. He is saying in verse number 21. सातैत्तिरीयश्रुतिराह सादरम् यश्रुतिराह सादरं न्यासं प्रशस्ताखिलकर्मणां स्फुटं प्रशस्ताखिलकर्मणां स्फुटम् एतावदित्याह च वाजिनां श्रुतिः इत्याह च वाजिनां श्रुतिः ज्ञानं विमोक्षाय न कर्म साधनम् सा तैत्तिर्य श्रुति ही आह. First reference he is taking from Taittiriya Shruti. Now this is not Taittiriya Upanishad, this is Taittiriya Shruti, means other part of the Taittiriya. See, Taittiriya is a large portion of the Krishna Yajurveda, a very large portion. So it is Taittiriya Brahmana is also there, Taittiriya Aranyaka also is there, and Taittiriya Upanishad is also there. Taittiriya Samhita is also there. So the Veda is divided into different parts. Various types of classification are there. One classification we saw that it is Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda, Jnana Kanda. That is one way of classifying. Other way of classifying is certain mantras which are like hymns that the rishis used to sing, looking at the nature, its wonders. So they used to sing hymns. This is Bhagavan only, who else? So they recognize Bhagavan. This is called mantra or samhita. The various hymns used to be there, stutis, suktas, etc. This is samhita. Then there were vidhi nisheda. This is to be done, this is not to be done. Especially ritualistic language was employed. So that is called Brahmana. Brahmana nothing to do with the Varnas. It is the portion of the Veda where the do's and don'ts etc. for a primarily Grihastha ashrama. That is called Brahmana portion of the Vedas. Then third is where lots of upasanas etc. are given. Different types of vidyas, different types of... So those are given in the portion, that portion is called Aranyaka. And sometimes it is likened to the Vanaprasthi's guideline, Aranyaka. And the fourth one is the Upanishad or Jnana Kanda. So this is also one classification: Mantra, Brahmana, Aranyaka and Upanishad. So this portion, the huge large portion, it is said, this is a Taittiriya name also comes from a legend. There is this incident that takes place. Vaishampayana Rishi, of the 4 primary disciples of Sri Vedavyasji, whom Vedavyasji gave one text of the Veda to further teach. Vaishampayana Rishi got the Yajurveda. Now this Yajurveda, which he taught to his students, one of his students was Yajnavalkya. Now this Yajnavalkya, he was the sharpest, the most brilliant, the best student. And those days, now when the Gurukul is going on and the teaching is happening, at that time some king would come and he would be camping nearby. So he will request the Acharya of the Gurukul, why don't you send one of your students, so we will do some, satsang. Sometimes he would say that I have to perform some ritual, so you please send one of the students. So like that, sometimes they would even request these Acharyas to send a student to their kingdom also. So such kind of things used to happen. So Yajnavalkya was sent, one such request, Yajnavalkya was sent to a king. Now this Yajnavalkya, being one of the best students, being the very, very sharp and brilliant student, he went and he performed some ritual, and then the waters that is offered and all, it was poured on some dry stub which was there, just dried up, some plant, and then it is dried up, and then just a little bit of stub is remaining. On that it was poured. And surprise, it started regrowing. So this king was so impressed. He felt this is some very Tejasvi brahmachari. So he went and requested Vaishampayana Rishi that next time also you send this person only. Guru used to send anybody randomly in rotation, but he said, no, I want this person only. Now sometimes maybe because of worldly popularity, sometimes something happens. So the student also little bit, I'm in demand. So now what happened? That is why in Gurukul, in Gurudev and all, rarely he used to send students out. He used to study. Afterwards we'll see. So now it so happened that at some point, this Yajnavalkya found some fault with the Guru. Hey, what you're teaching is, I don't think it is correct. So Vaishampayana Rishi was, so he said, this is not, dimag mein chad gaya hai. So now this has to be corrected. So he said that, I don't think so. No, it is wrong. I will prove it. So that arrogance. Okay. So Yajnavalkya Rishi said, just leave. Leave the Gurukul. So now he was so overconfident, he got up and, look, I can survive. Now I know, because now demand, no. मेरी दुकान खुलेगी, चल जाएगी, क्योंकि लोग ऑलरेडी राजा डिमांड कर रहे हैं, तो फिर प्रजा तो ले ही लेगी. See, this distorted knowledge is not completely happened, but so Guru, whatever the Guru may be, but is always greater than us. So then the Guru said that you can't go just like that. You have to give all that I gave you, return it back and then go. अगर तुमको मेरे दिए हुए ज्ञान में भरोसा नहीं है, return it, vomit it out right away, bring it out. So at that time, it is symbolically said that because he was a brilliant disciple, he brought out everything. Now it is used in a literal language, but we have to take it in the right understanding. So he brought out everything as though he vomited out. And this Vaishampayana Rishi signaled to his rest of the Shishyas that take everything. He is such a great disciple, he has grasped everything so well, take it all. So it is said that these disciples took forms of tiny, tiny birds, these small birds, and then they took away. It was a literal language of he vomited out and they ate it all up. So these tiny birds, the name of these tiny birds in Sanskrit is Tittiri. Tittiri birds. So this body of knowledge, which was a huge portion of the Yajurveda, is called Taittiriya Shakha. Taittiriya Shakha. And in this Taittiriya Shakha, there are Mantra Samhita also, there is Brahmana also, there is Aranyaka also, and Upanishad also. So Taittiriya Upanishad is familiar for us in Chinmaya mission, but there are other parts of the Veda also, which is called the Taittiriya Shakha, the entire branch, which is a huge portion. So anything, people will say, it is in Taittiriya. So Taittiriya means not just Upanishad, it is in other parts of the Taittiriya also. We as seekers may have this question, what happened to Yajnavalkya after that? That story is now necessary to be completed because that reference also is coming later. Yajnavalkya, now he was empty all that he could feel proud of is gone. He's given it back to the Guru, and Guru kicked him out, that now you are not my disciple anymore. Now, if Guru, you know, but the Guru knew that he is such a Tejasvi Shishya, he will be able to gain this knowledge back. So he went and he completely lost hopes. He was devastated. But then suddenly he got this inspiration. This is what, when our life is in harmony with nature, Bhagavan can help us through any element of nature. So that is what happened to Yajnavalkya also. He got inspired by the rising sun. And he started doing Surya Upasana. And through this Surya Upasana, he made Surya Bhagavan only his Guru. This is the greatness of our rishis, to be able to see that ultimate truth in every element of nature. We were not worshipping just trees and stones and sun and moon, not like that. It was actually worshipped as the reality. It is the Adi Daivik part, the divine part, and not the ball of gases that we are seeing. So he did Upasana of Surya, and Surya gave knowledge to Yajnavalkya. So Yajnavalkya also became a rishi. Rishi is the one who can see these mantras and have direct experience. So he became a rishi, and this part, all because he was in the Yajurveda Shakha as a disciple of Vaishampayana, and he was known as the Shishya of Vaishampayana, so he was in Yajurveda Shakha. But this knowledge that he got from Lord Sun himself, because the sun was a brilliant, the symbol of brilliance in this whole universe, this branch of knowledge that Yajnavalkya received and later taught is called Shukla Yajurveda. Shukla means bright. So because this was called Shukla Yajurveda, that which was Vaishampayanaji was giving, that came to be known as Krishna Yajurveda. So that is why Krishna. So that is Krishna Yajurveda, this is Shukla Yajurveda. So both Yajurveda only. So this Yajnavalkya Rishi is the one who is, who has given again in Shukla Yajurveda also. There are Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka and Upanishad. So famous Upanishads from the Shukla Yajurveda, we all know. One is Ishavasya Upanishad. That is why Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasyapitam Mukham. That is why Surya. And the largest of all Upanishads is Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, also is in Shukla Yajurveda. Why this story is required is, here Taittiriya Shruti has been talked about, and the next one, also the second half of the mantra, the shloka says, Vajinam Shrutihi. Vajinam Shrutihi or Vajasaneyi it is called. Here, Surya Devata, it is said that he gave knowledge to Yajnavalkya in the form of a horse. Vaji means horse. So Vajasaneya Upanishad means that Upanishad which was revealed by the Lord in the form of a horse. So Vajinam Shrutihi. So here Vajasaneyi Upanishad is Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It is a popular name. Just some information so that we can relate to this, that why this name suddenly. So Taittiriya Shruti is actually here referred to as Taittiriya Aranyaka, not Upanishad. And the second one that is saying Vajinam Shruti, it is Brihadaranyaka. So that is from the Shukla Yajurveda. Acha. So now, Sa Taittiriya Shruti Aha. That Taittiriya Aranyaka, that Shruti, that portion, that statement of the Veda, that which is there and found in Taittiriya Aranyaka, which we all know very well. We have, we know how to chant also. Really? I have never studied Taittiriya Aranyaka. We may not have studied, but we know this mantra. What is it? Om na karmana na prajaya dhane na tyage naike amritatvama. This is from Taittiriya Aranyaka. It is there in other places also. Some of these mantras are there in Kaivalya Upanishad also. Some of these are there in Mahanarayana Upanishad also. So there are in different places. Same mantras are there. So this Taittiriya Aranyaka, it says, what is that? It says, Prashasta Akhila Karmanam Nyasam. Nyasam, giving up of Akhila Karmanam, all actions. Which actions? Prashasta, that which are indicated by the Veda. Why? How is it said? It is said that the immortality is not attained. Amritatvam na karmana, not by action. Na prajaya, not by progeny. Tyagena ekena, only by giving up. Giving up what? No, don't get stuck in the stage of action. Once that purity of mind is gained and once we are ready for the knowledge, then don't keep getting stuck in that action only. Move ahead. So the Shruti has said, Taittiriya Shruti has said. How has it said? Sputam, clearly. No doubt there. And sadaram, and not putting down actions. But sa adaram, with great respect. That actions have their place, but they don't need to be continued after they are required. Everything in life has its place, but it need not outlive its necessity. Everything is required. For example, now I have to study. Yes, I have to study. For what? What is the purpose of study? Studying scriptures. Purpose is getting liberation. Now, if liberation has been gained, after that also I don't need to study. Although studies are good, but the goal is attained. After that, why should you study? Then over. Then no need. Similarly, action is performed for purity of mind. If mind has become pure and I am eligible for knowledge, I have risen myself to that state of knowledge, to receive knowledge, then after that it is not required. At least it is not required the way it used to be. So, even our duties, etc., they have changed. We were studying in one class, then we moved on to the next class. So that class studies have to be given up. No, I will study tables. I will study all 2 2s are 2, 2 3, 2 2s are 4, 2 3s are 6, 2 4s are 8. Beyond that, I don't know. So I am not giving more example. So tables, I have to practice every day. Who? Post-graduation mathematics. But he is doing tables every day. Why? हो गया, उसका purpose solve हो गया. Now why do you have to do more and more? The purpose of that was you get a quick recall. Now you are able to compute lot of complicated things also in your mind. Then why do you need to? No. In primary school, I was told I should do this every day. So I am doing this every day. Not required. What is its necessity? What is its purpose has been served. So if purpose is to gain immortality, actions will prepare me for the knowledge. After that, it has to be given up. Gurudev's famous example of the pole vault. You take the support, the pole is required. Without that you cannot. But you take the support, jump up, go to that height, and when you are moving beyond, tyagena ekena, world record anashuhu, Olympic medal anashuhu. You will get Olympic medal only if you drop the pole and go beyond. If you want to take the pole with you, no medal. We will injure ourselves only. Tyagena ekena. It is only by giving up. This very famous way in Africa, in jungles and all. These are all like those so-called primitive people we say, but they are more intelligent actually and very practical people. They have this way of catching monkeys, especially baboons. What they do is they will put some salt near the places where monkeys are roaming around, and this monkey will start licking the salt, and after some time the monkey feels thirsty. So then what they will do is they will follow the monkey and find water sources and all. That is their usual thing. And sometimes if they want to catch a monkey, what they will do is, this monkey, when it is just roaming around and licking the salt here, there it is going. So the monkey has already seen that he is putting something for me. So then he becomes curious. So then this man digs a hole and then puts some peanuts, shows the monkey and puts some peanuts. Now it has had salt also, and now it is greedy that I want to have that peanuts also. So the monkey goes, and when this person goes away and from a distance is hiding and watching, this monkey goes, puts its hand, fills its as many peanuts as possible in its fist, and then now when it wants to take it out, the hole is not as big to take the full fist. The empty hand can come out, but the full fist cannot come out. Phas gaya. Natural trap, without any pain. No pain to the monkey. Nothing artificial. The hunter doesn't have to do anything. Just put some peanuts, and that peanuts also will not be used because the monkey will never be able to eat it. Hold and pulling out, and start screaming for help. Main pakda gaya, pakda gaya. Now, who has caught? Now, if it wants immortality or freedom, liberation, amritatvam, how is it possible? Not by holding on. Na karmana, na prajaya, na dhanena. Then, tyage naike amritatvam manashu. But the monkey doesn't know that I have only held on. It is not that the peanuts have caught me. It is not that the hunter has caught me. I have only caught and I have only bound myself. So if I drop it, I will be free. That is why monkeys are called our ancestors. They are such faithful followers of our ancestors. We also create sorrow for ourselves. We also hold on to everything. It is tyagena ekena. And it is not just karma, because the language, because the reference is going on, that is why karma. Otherwise it is tyaga. Tyaga means anything that we are stuck to. So karma also, when it matures, it has to drop. Even in nature we find this. When a flower matures, then in order to give way to the fruit, the petals etc. have to drop. Tyagena ekena. That amaratvam, that immortality is attained by that flower when it becomes the fruit. But to become the fruit, it has to drop off its attractive, colorful petals. Only then it will become amara. That it still lives on. And then that fruit, once it is fully ripe, after that it falls off. Tyaga. Because if it is still there, it will not fulfill its purpose. Tyaga. And by that tyaga, what happens? The fruit falls down and then goes again. The seed is there, goes into the soil and again grows. Amaratva, immortality. But if it is held on, then there is no immortality. It is destroyed. Whatever is held on to gets destroyed. Even waters If they are flowing, it is fresh, clean, pure, holy. Stagnant water, even if it is, some sacred pond, but if it is stagnant and nobody wants to dip. So many of us Tirtha Kshetras, it is considered in the scriptures, it is said that you should go and have a holy dip. You go and look there, दूर से नमस्कार कर देते. Yamuna ji, here only it is. Anybody dares put even a finger, we don't know what will come back. So, it is movement. Even in economics, it is said that fluidity is required. Anywhere it gets accumulated, there is some problem. So, Nyasam, it is very clearly said, and it is sadharam, it is with lot of respect and giving its due importance. This is said very clearly. And also, Vajinam Shrutihi, in the Brihadaranyaka, it has been said, Etavad Ityahacha Vajinam Shrutihi. It is said, karma can take us only up to this. Etavat means this much only. So, this is when you negate, this is a very famous Shruti which was referred to in the previous verses also. Neti, neti, neti. So when I say this body is not me, senses not me, mind, intellect not me, then what remains? That much only is the knowledge. Now what more is to be attained? What more has to be done? Nothing else needs to be done. So here Yajnavalkya is giving this knowledge to his wife Maitreyi on being asked that if I get all the wealth, inherit your wealth as you suggest, then will I get liberation? He said no. This is the only way. Neti, neti, negate everything, get established. With all the wealth and all these actions, it cannot be attained. Very clearly, he has also said. So therefore, what is the means of realization? What is the means of going beyond sorrow and ignorance? Only means is knowledge. Therefore it is said, Jnanam vimokshaya na karma sadhanam. So for moksha, only jnanam and no karma. Now, Bhagavan also remembered one of the, he himself only presented, so of course he will remember, that these Samuchayavadis also gave this argument that any action like a yajna, this example was given. Any action like a yajna needs a lot of supporting actions. It was given that when we want to do action, we also discussed that you have to make a yajna kunda. So for that you have to make bricks. So there is brick making is another supporting action. Then you have to have firewood. So then the woodcutter's action is supporting action. You put ghee, etc. offering. So then cows, rearing of cows and dairy, all that action is there. So all these different actions are there to support the main action of yajna that we had already seen as an example quoted by the Samuchayavadins. That similarly, this jnana also needs support of all these actions so that it can successfully bring us to the goal. Now here Bhagavan is taking up that example and saying that it cannot be compared to knowledge. Yajna and knowledge are not comparable. Yajna is um, a preparatory means for making ourselves fit for knowledge, but not comparable to knowledge itself. So this is what is being answered here in verse number 22. We shall read that. Vidya samatvena tu darshitastvaya न tu darshitastvaya kraturna drishtanta udahrita samaha फलैः पृथक्त्वाद् बहुकारकैः क्रतुः संसाध्यते ज्ञानमतो विपर्ययम् अतो विपर्ययम्. हाँ, Bhagwan, as though is addressing the Samuchayavadins directly, and he says, Tvaya, by you, Darshitaha, you had given this example. What was that? Vidya Samatvena, you compared it with Vidya, with knowledge. What? Kratuhu. Kratuhu means Yajna. One type of yajna is called kratu. Those yajnas in which there is a pole. Sayupa yajnaha kratuhu, it is said. What is that pole? This is just some cultural information. That some yajnas had the ritual of Bali. And for that Bali, this pole was there. All the yajnas did not need it. Now what is this Bali? Oh, so we used to kill animals? No. That Veda which says Ahimsa Paramo Dharmaha will not ask you to kill an animal. What is this Bali? Bali does not mean killing. Bali means offering, not killing. Oh, so you offer the animal in the fire? That is same as killing only, by the way. So then what is it? That pole, which is near the Yajna Kunda only, near in that Yajna Shala itself, that is called the Dharma Yupa. It is called the Yupa means pole. So the pole of Dharma. And there one animal is brought, whatever animal based on the ritual guidance. So sometimes it may be a goat or whichever animal is there. It is tied to the pole. It is very nicely fed. It is worshipped. And it is recognized as all the animalistic tendencies that are there within us. It is recognized. That this is what is seen outside, but actually is residing inside. What does this goat say? Meh, 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 meh. It is inside or not? It only believes what it sees. It does not think. It is there inside also. It is only looking at what it can get inside also. It is all the time self-centered, selfish, not caring, sharing. Any animal gets a lot of food. Does it say, let me share? Only one exception is a mother or parent, father also. So this some species, but some species that is also not seen. Snakes and all eat their own eggs. By giving birth to so many, my energy is gone. Now I can't go and hunt. Let me eat 2 of my children only. Snakes do that. So all these are there inside. All these animals. So all the animalistic tendency is recognized in that. It is fed also nicely, worshipped also, and with prayers to Bhagavan in that yajna, it is released. So now with all this ritual and all this thing, the animal anyway wants to run away. Human company animals don't like. We only say it is my pet, it is my pet. Given one chance, they will run away only. So this animal, it is released, and symbolically we have sent all our animalistic tendency also with it. This is called Bali. In the original ritual, this is Bali. And in all those yajnas where this dharma yupa was used for this Bali is called kratu. So this kratu, where so many other aspects are also involved, that was given as drishtanta. Here Bhagavan is saying, na drishtanta udahritah samaha. Whatever drishtanta example you had given and compared to Vidya, it is not equivalent. It cannot be compared. This example itself is not comparable. See, example given has to be comparable to the principle. Drishtanta and Siddhanta has to have relation. Otherwise, any example I give for anything, that will not work. I give example of something that happens in my house or what I have seen in my dream to explain to what has happened in your dream. But how is it related? So sometimes it is not related at all. This wife got so angry with the husband. The husband said, but what did I do? He said, you slapped me. He said, slap? I can't even think or imagine slapping. I don't even raise my voice in front of you. So no. But where did you see me slapping? So she said, in my dream. So in your dream, if I slapped you, you are saying, that was your dream. Then why are you blaming me? So she said, if you can slap me in my dream, what all you must be doing in your dream? Now, where is the correlation of my dream and your dream? In my childhood, I did this. Do you remember? Now, where is the correlation? So, there has to be some relation to it. Only then examples can be given. Totally unrelated example if somebody gives. That's what he's saying. Na samaha. This udaharana that you have given, it is not equivalent to Vidya. Why? What is the difference? Phalaihi prithaktvat. This outcome of these two are totally different. Bahukarakaihi. And there are so many things involved. Bahukaraka. It is not just like straightforward like jnana. It is so many different things are required, and then something is produced. Yeah, jnanam, straight away, you are not this body, you are the self. So there is no many supporting actions that are required. And second, it is not, the result produced of both of them is very different. A yajna, physically, immediate surroundings, they get purified, yes. The performer of the yajna, that person also feels internally purified. That is there. But in Vidya, in yajna, you are purifying the mind. In Vidya, mind only is not there. Bhagavan Raman Maharshi says, by karma yoga you can purify mind. By bhakti yoga you can purify mind. By dhyana yoga, ashtanga yoga, you can purify your mind and calm it down, make it single pointed. But jnana yoga starts with the inquiry, what is this mind? And when one starts thinking, there is no mind. I alone am. So it is so different. All other things are preparatory means, can take us to a point. From there, jnana takes over and reaches a state where there is no mind. So it is that vidya, and compared to this yajna. Yes, yajna is a noble action, no doubt, but after all, it is an action. So therefore, phalaihi prathakvat bahukarakaihi kratuhu samsadhyate. Kratu is, this yajna is performed and achieved, accomplished with lot of different types of actions and auxiliary causes, instruments, people. In jnanam, all what is required. And that is why when we say that, what does Chinmaya mission do? Chinmaya mission is into teaching of the scriptures, dissemination of knowledge. And we say, Acha, then what have you come to me for? I said, fundraising. Why do you need money? Why? तुमको पढ़ाना है ना, पेड़ के नीचे बैठ के पढ़ाओ. आपको क्या जरूरत है पैसे की? क्यों इतना ये सब रूम बनाने की क्या जरूरत है? Why do you have to make all this AC classrooms and all? Not required. पेड़ के नीचे बैठ के पढ़ो, कुछ भी तो नहीं चाहिए. These people who do not want to give will say. But if we ask them, okay, agreed, will you come for such a class which is under the tree? इतनी गर्मी है, how can we do that, So, all this is not required in Jnanam. What they say is true. In Jnanam, even paid is not required. उसके नीचे बैठने की क्या जरूरत है? Nothing is required. No accessory is required. All this is to make the mind available for knowledge. Otherwise, why this facility is created? Why should we have a center? Why should we have any ashram? Why should we have temple? Why should we have any place for spiritual activities? Spirituality is about the self. What is required? As such, nothing is. If at all anything is needed, even a book is not needed for spirituality, strictly speaking. Why is a book required? Did Ved Vyas ji read Shri Rama Geeta? He only wrote it. Did Shankaracharya ji read Shankara Bhashya? So actually nothing is required. But still, we are using all these things. Why? This is all for preparation. This is not for knowledge. We have to understand. This is facilitating knowledge to happen. When the mind is calm, when the body is fairly comfortable, not indulging, but fairly comfortable, then what happens? The mind comes out of all these basic preoccupations and is able to focus on the knowledge. That is why facilities have to be created. And it is not only in modern days. Even in the past, they used to have gurukuls. The gurukuls used to be conducted indoors. Because you can't have, in every season, you can't be outside. Maybe some of the seasons, yes, you can have open to sky classes. That has its own beauty. But you can't have it throughout the year. You can't have it throughout the day also. So facilities have been created in the past, even now. Why in universities study, why do you need a classroom? पेड़ के नीचे कितने बच्चे पढ़ते हैं गांव में? आप भी पढ़ाओ. Stanford, Oxford. Why do you need classrooms? Why do you need a university building? क्या जरूरत है? This is all facilities to keep our mind focused in study. So these are all preparatory things. This is not knowledge. We have to understand. Our scriptures say even these words are not knowledge. Going beyond the words is real knowledge. We are stuck still in words only. But does that mean words are not required? Words are needed. Only then we'll be able to go beyond them. So, all these actions, whether they are yajnas, whether there is yajna, dana, tapa, karma, all these different types of karma necessary to prepare. Even the facilities that we create for the class to take place is all necessary to prepare the mind, keep the mind in a state which is available to absorb knowledge. But knowledge is something very different. That is why it is said, jnanam ataha viparyayam. Jnanam is very different from this. Viparyaya literally means opposite. Opposite means none of these things matter. Where do I sit? What do I do? It doesn't matter. Fairly recent, Nisargadatta Maharaj, we must have heard the name. He was a great saint. He was a Jivan Mukta. And his journey, very interesting. His guru, if we, his guru was a pan shop owner. He was making pan for people. Small little shop. Panwala he was. His guru told him, you are not the body. You are that pure self. Gyan ho gaya unko. They said few months it took in between, but he really did not need to go through this big journey of Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, all these things. Guru said, now what more do I need? Now who is this Guru? Panwala. It is not even needed to have. So we understand, but all this is preparation. For Nisargadatta Maharaj, that was sufficient. For Sanat Kumaras, even those words were not required. Silence was sufficient. So they understood. For us, volumes of commentaries are there. Still we are struggling. So it is based on the student's needs. But all these accessories are needed to prepare the mind. So here he is saying, you may give example of yajnas, you may give example of any worldly actions also. All this is needed as a preparatory means to keep the mind available for this knowledge, whereas knowledge is totally different. Therefore, it cannot be compared, and if it is not comparable, the example doesn't stand. So, you really don't need anything else. Just knowledge is sufficient. So, when my mind is prepared to absorb this knowledge and I am able to absorb this knowledge, I am I have reached the goal of this human existence. Now, there are other arguments also which now Bhagavan is taking up. Now we have to just understand that this, okay, Samuchayavadin said something, okay, गलती से बोल दिया, sorry, अभी बार बार क्यों इसको इतना ज़्यादा, why is Bhagavan repeating this again and again? We understand, we are not Samuchayavadins, we understand, we agree with you, Bhagavan, why are you? See, we have to understand that Samuchayavadin is not someone external, someone in the past. It is there within us. It may come up in various different ways which we don't even sometimes recognize. So Bhagavan is only addressing our buddhi and not some Samuchayavadin somewhere in the past, some distant person. No. Because our buddhi comes up with these kind of arguments. But it is said here in this scripture, it is said like this. But it is, I see that this is required in this manner. So all these things. So we have to understand, standpoints are there for every statement. So if we have to sum up all these arguments, Bhagavan is only saying, look at what standpoint that statement is made from. Then we will understand. The same Yajnavalkya Rishi says in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, he says that, I want all these cows as gifts from Janak Maharaj. He says, I am taking all of them. He's greedy after cows. What is this? Is cow going to give immortality? No. That same Yajnavalkya says, it has limited use. Beyond this, it is useless. He himself says. So now context. Where are these contexts? One was the Yajnavalkya who was the guru of the Gurukul. He wanted his students, etc. to be fed. Acha, so feeding students is gaining knowledge? No, it is preparatory, because only feeding will ensure that the minds are available for learning. So we have to understand the standpoints. Otherwise, even forget about our own lives and application, that comes later. Even outside we see and we start having notions about people, organizations, actions that they perform. So, for example, today, if we say that we are having classes, people ask, आप कुछ सेवा का काम नहीं करते? No, means class is not seva. Teaching is not seva. See, if we look at, this is a mindset. Means what? The class is useless, okay. Okay, you're doing some time pass, but कुछ सेवा करते हो कि नहीं? So then if you ask, okay, what seva? Do you feed the poor? Or do you work for the upliftment of the backward? Do you do something like that? If anything is there, then tell me, I am interested. A class was, I don't have time. Because Vidya is very different. People don't understand and recognize it. And if we say, okay, our main thing is classes, but we are doing these other activities and all, so why do you need to do? What is it? So this is all being clarified by Bhagavan. And it is as relevant today as it may have been at that time. That is the beauty of the scriptures. So we'll see further also. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.